I got an email this morning from Alexis Ohanian, founder of Reddit. Breadpig is his new startup, which is a client of ours, and this is what it said. You can't make this stuff up. Your website is amazeballs. Congrats on the only website I've seen that doesn't suck horribly. So let me tell you why Maxwell is amazeballs. We have totally revolutionized everything to do with employee benefits by turning it into a subscription service that people love. And we do that by automating everything to do with enrolling and managing benefits. But we go way beyond that by helping people find doctors, compare costs, and understanding their benefits. And we reward people for being healthy every single day. We're venture-backed. We raised our Series A round in July. We'll close our Series B in November, 4 months later at a big lift. And it's because we're doing many hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. We launched in February. We have clients that include TED conferences, Pando Media, Ginger, Leaf, Avaz, Acumen Fund. I dropped out of school to start my last company, which we sold to Computer Associates in 2006.
All right, great. Welcome to the stage. Now we've got to do those 3 questions that we just answered. And you got 3 minutes for the first one. 3 pieces of information you didn't share yesterday that you'd like to convey to our judges over here.
So let's talk about the importance of brand. We have a view on the future of healthcare in America. And we don't want to be seen as a tech company. We want to be seen as a solution to that problem for small businesses. And because of that, we built a brand that we want end users to demand. So when they go to a company, they ask for Maxwell. Maxwell is a reflection of a company's culture. And by doing that, we cause customer demand. And even though we sell through benefits brokers who license our technology, we want them to have customers coming to them demanding Maxwell. And the power of that brand is it puts us in a position to strike distribution deals that are kind of unheard of in this space. So as an example, we're working on a deal right now with one of the biggest internet websites in the country to equip all of their sellers with a beautiful benefits experience. You don't do that deal unless you've got a great brand and an awesome experience. The second thing I want to talk about is product density. So we talk about this subscription service, and the example I like to use is a young family. I've got 2 little kids. You know, it's important to have a medical plan that is good for children, but it also would be helpful to have a healthy meal delivery service, a babysitting service. These are the kinds of things that I want in my benefits subscription. Now, that's an important part of our model because we at Maxwell curate those additional services so that as a consumer, you click once and we turn it all on for you. Now, why does that matter? For the customer, it's simple. 1 click, everything's taken care of. For our partner in the benefits advisor, we turn them into a hero. They put this stuff together, it makes them look good, and they make a cut on that margin because they resell it. We wholesale the products by doing deals with the suppliers, so we make some money. So this is a classic win-win-win, where ultimately we drive up our revenue through product density, the acquisition cost has been spent, and we can become more profitable as we grow. The third thing I want to talk about is resilience, and yesterday I talked about one of our pivots. In fact, our company has done 3 pivots. And the first one was around a mental health product that we built. The second one was a behavior change platform. And when we launched into Maxwell, we knew we were getting into some hot water because we had a lot to learn. We had to go out and actually convince our team to become licensed benefits brokers. That doesn't look good on a resume for a lot of people. So we got some kickback. And when we launched our first product in February, it was actually wrong. We had to rebuild it and relaunch it in March. 0 customers, 0 pipeline. We scaled it fast. We went out to raise money. I got 98 no's before I got a yes. The last 2 payrolls were written out of my personal bank account. I had to get Nina's permission to do it. We finally got a yes, and within 1 week, we're 2 times oversubscribed. We rocket shipped up, and we'll do our Series B 4 months later. I guess I want to point that out because we've got a resilient team. I really believe that you can't motivate people in life. They're either already looking at your star or they're not. So the trick is to find the people looking at your star. And the beautiful thing about our company is if you ask someone whether they're motivated to be at Maxwell, it's sort of a bizarre question. Not only are they looking at the star, they freaking own the star. They built the star. And that's why I think we've got an incredible culture that can take on these challenges.
Okay, what's the biggest challenge you've got to face?
We got a bunch of quotes up in our office. The one that I like the most is from Vinod Khosla. Everything hard is not valuable, but everything valuable is hard. So let's talk about all the hard stuff we've done. We had to become licensed benefits advisors. We had to become appointed and able to do business legally in states across the country. We had to learn about all the financial products around benefits, HRAs, HSAs, FSAs. We had to figure out how to bring in payroll. We had to figure out cost transparency, how to find doctors, how to explain benefits to people. We built in a wellness program that rewarded you to be healthy. We did all these things. Some we've invented, some we've innovated on, some we've just plugged in what other partners have done. But ultimately, the challenge we face is to keep up with an industry that's constantly changing because of innovation, where the laws are changing, And it forces us to make sure that we disrupt ourselves before someone else does. So we see the change coming so that we can shape it beforehand. And I think we've done an incredible job of that so far, but undoubtedly our ongoing challenge will be our ability to keep on top of that. So what will we do with $10,000? This is a really simple one for us. We've had the amazingly good fortune to find young people with very little experience, give them opportunity to blossom in our company, and seen them take off. An executive assistant who now runs operations, an intern writer who's now our head of marketing. We've seen this happen over and over and over again, and there are two things we look for in our litmus test. One is we look for great writers. I know that sounds a little crazy, but if you're a great writer, you pay attention to detail, and you think about things in a way that's from a communicative perspective. What we also look for is people who take on challenges, where the first response is, yep, I'll try to do that. We've got a lot of people like that, and I'd like to take this $10,000, hire 3 interns for 3 months, and find 3 more diamonds in the rough, because they are an incredible return on investment for our company. That's it. Thank you.
Great. All right. You got some extra time, so great job. So judges.
So service sounds great. Passion's awesome. I just started a company, and I was looking around for benefits, et cetera, and I looked at different startups and found that I ended up going with TriNet because they just did everything, and it was simple. So you're competing with people that have a broader set, and especially as a small business, I just care about reducing complexity. So how do you deal with that? Whether it's TriNet or someone else like them, you're providing one solution. These guys are providing the whole thing for me.
Yeah, I actually beg to differ on that. I actually think we're solving the whole solution. One of the challenges with something like a PEO like TriNet is it stops after the benefits. It's really about managing HR. What it isn't about is navigating the healthcare system. When you get sick...
Are you doing payroll?
We do payroll.
Everything. Okay.
Everything. We do payroll. We help you find doctors. We compare costs. We got a wellness program. By the way, it actually looks good and is easy to use. No one loves TriNet. But the thing we're doing is we're basically arming benefits advisors. There are tens of thousands of benefits brokers in our country, whether you like them or not, whether you like their pink socks and ties or not. They serve an important function, which is to explain this complicated, expensive decision you're going to make. We turn them into heroes by giving them the tech platform they've never had to use before. So one of the big challenges of a PEO is that you don't get to control your medical history. The moment you're over 50 people, you've got the ability to negotiate better rates with the carriers. So it actually pays to think about moving off. We've moved a number of companies off of TriNet who've realized that. So we've thought about it. Look, it's not a perfect solution. They're going to evolve, but we understand the business model. We know what they're trying to do, and we've got a good competitive solution.
So kind of just building on that, I'm familiar with Zenefits and Cake Health, and can you just talk, I don't know if you addressed this yesterday, I didn't see your presentation.
No, good question.
Yeah.
Zenefits is cool. Look, there's lots of great innovators out there, and it's important to watch them. We have a lot to learn. But the big difference is that as opposed to being one of the soldiers in the field, I hate the military example, but as opposed to being the soldier in the field, I want to arm every single soldier. So Zenefits is a broker with cool technology. We are an awesome platform that's going to be like turning on Google, Dropbox, or Basecamp for your company that we want every single benefits advisor to use. You want to actually affect healthcare in America, you better get 50 million people to use your product. You're not going to do that one company at a time. You're going to have to do that with one advisor at a time who has 25, 30, 100, 1,000 clients. And that's our approach to market.
So you're a very impressive presenter and very passionate. That's great. So I'm sure you'll succeed. The question is, how long will it take? And the problem is that benefits is a decision that people make once a year. So if you miss that cycle, it's going to be another year. The second problem is that, as both of them have said, there's lots of competitors out there that do the same kinds of things. You probably do it better. So the question is, how do you scale?
Sure. 2 things. The first premise is wrong. You don't need to actually change your benefits to have Maxwell as a platform. You can keep all your benefits as is. So we can implement midstream, which is an effective sales mechanism for us. Second of all, in our ability to scale, ultimately, in my mind, this is a customer acquisition play. So that's why, to my very first point, we focus on building a great consumer brand. Because the way to do this is not to knock on every single door. The way to do this is have everyone knocking on our door. And we can go out and do singular deals that drive a lot of business. So, last Friday we did a webinar for Jamba Juice franchisees across the country. There were 400 of them on one webinar by convincing Jamba Juice that we were the solution for them. We partnered up with a top 10 brokerage firm in the country to deliver that webinar, and we'll deliver that service going forward. So I think we can go out and do those kinds of deals. I'm not passionate because I just love talking. I'm passionate because I think we have invented the future, and I want to make sure everybody knows about that. And the only way to do it is to get a massive microphone and shout it out loud. And that's to do it with partners, to have a great brand, and to have momentum. We don't have to raise more money, I'm sure of that, which is why we've got great venture investors in our current company, in the current rounds. We have Tribeca Venture Partners, Lara Ventures, Box Group, a bunch of great angels in New York and Boston. We've got a lot of demand on this round. So we're being thoughtful about how we finance the company going forward.
So throughout your multiple pivots, what was it that told you that this is the one that you needed to persevere through as opposed to the other ones?
Well, we're only in it for a year, so I don't know if this is the one we should persevere through. I'm pretty sure it is. I think that maybe another way to think of the question is, how do we know the other ones weren't working? And the signals for us were pretty straightforward. We've had a singular vision from the very beginning: fix healthcare in America by helping companies control costs and get their employees healthy. That's always been the premise of this organization. And as soon as we figured out that there was a better, faster path to get there, we killed ourselves. And we had a $3 million revenue line on daily feeds. We basically stopped it. Running out of money. You remember I wrote those last payroll checks. It was a real hard run, a lot of risk. And for us, it's just to look. I'm 36. I'm in that perfect age groups apparently for enterprise software. I kind of look at it as like each one takes 10 years if you're lucky. I put my 20s into IT support. That's like banging your head against the wall. I'm putting my 30s into fixing healthcare in America. And frankly, I don't want to do it unless we're going to go big, because it's a waste of time. I have 2 kids I don't see very often. And I got a good reason for it, when they're in their teens, that we actually did something that mattered.
Can you say more about how you lower healthcare costs?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you one specific example. So a lot of companies are moving towards higher deductible, lower premium models of healthcare because they want to put the consumer in charge of their healthcare dollars. Now, the challenge with that model is that with a lack of transparency on how you spend healthcare dollars, how do you actually know how to spend it? So there are 2 things we do to help there. One is that we give you cost transparency. You can call us. We know where you live. We know your network. We'll compare costs of doctors for you so you can choose one that's reasonably priced. The second example is that if you're on a health...
Seriously? How do you do that?
We work with a concierge service called Health Advocate that does this for Fortune 5,000 companies. We've private labeled it, co-branded it, put it behind our tech and service stack. It's a variable cost. They've got billions of data points, and they do it for us. Our customers think it's us, and they love it. It's a variable cost model that we make a margin on.
But if I'm going to the doctor, you don't know I'm going to the doctor.
So if you call us and say, hey, I need to get an MRI done, we can say, here, there are 3 places to get an MRI in your zip code. Here are the different costs. The second thing is that if you've got a health reimbursement arrangement, so you take your debit card into the doctor's office, you swipe it. We know when that's swiped. The CFO at a company can toggle a setting in our system that says anytime a bill over $700 comes through the system, we want to automatically adjudicate that bill. That bill goes to our concierge service that then calls the doctor's office, calls the insurer, figures out whether there's a discrepancy. Now, 40% of healthcare bills are inaccurate. It's not to the consumer's favor, like ever, right? So it kind of makes sure to look into it. When we save that money, we report it back, and that's just another example.
All right, more cowbell. Perfect. Thank you very much, Maxwell Health.